Alright, so this is a brief intermission from the story of me and Jojo Taylor. Those of you guys who have been watching, I just posted up video number 6 of our messages in Messenger between each other, and Matty Boa too. I've already explained to Jojo and to Matty that I just need them to call off the dogs. I need help with that. See, that's the thing, is that people, Matty Boa especially, I mean, she's aware of the fact by this point that I'm being assaulted, I'm being treated like a rapist, and like a fucking child molester, and it's not registering to her that it's over opinions that she could just simply come forward and tell the truth about. Now, the next series of videos, of course, it's going to be doing a time warp. We're going to go back in time and see the stuff before Virginia and who I used to be, especially before I hurt my back. It was a tough situation. The reason for the intermission is because it takes a lot of time to download the video and then also for it to back up on the, I think it's called a cloud file, so that way it can be recalled later. At this point, I mean, I'm really wanting to tell Jojo what's going on. At this point, I've already been blown off by Pierre, who was supposed to show up the next day and talk with me, and 3 days later he treated me like shit. I'm like, dude, are you gonna fucking call me? And Ryan James, he's already come out about not being actually gay, but he didn't show up for 3 days too. I've already spoken about Maverick, and the thing is, I didn't feel comfortable explaining everything except in person. And Jojo had already, at the beginning of this, explained that, you know, talking to somebody in person is the best way to do it. She's gone out of her way repeatedly to take my texting wrong and to dismiss it all with pretty fucking white girl words. And you know, I just needed them to call off the dogs, and that wasn't going to happen unless they told the truth. And they're not going to tell the truth unless we're friends, or at least friendly. And with Matty dismissing me and everything I'm saying, well, I'm trying to explain to her what's going on, and she just straight doesn't give a fuck. She destroys a man's life by spreading rumors, and then it's not her problem. Well, it is your problem, Matty. You needed to come forward and tell the truth. So, later on this creates a lot of problems, but when I show you who I was before all of this, before the trip to Virginia, before Natalie and Alicia pulled their bullshit, I mean, you see that Natalie said people don't change. That's not true. You see who I was before all of this and who I was after. I mean, afterwards, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off in fucking shitty-ass environments, and I'm stressed the fuck out, and I need somebody to stop being selfish and actually help me. And when I go to see Derek and Jojo, they're busy being selfish. They're arguing over stupid stuff, and see, here's the thing about people that have other people in their lives, in their immediate household. That's called immediate family. That immediate family is their comfort and their safety network. Kind of like Tabby and Graham. And before Graham, it was Tabby and Joshua Eichelberger. With Joanna Taylor Smith, it's Derek. Derek's a dick. I love him, but he's a fucking dick. I love Jojo too, but all of this dismissive shit, like I'm trying to tell you what's going on whenever I see you in person, you know, so that we can actually communicate. I gotta listen to Derek being a fucking dick the whole time. And if it's you and Derek both there, then you two end up doing all of the talking, and I end up just sitting there listening, like the ride in Nebraska, sitting in the back seat of their vehicle, going, fuck. I just spent 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that, listening to these two argue. It started off as they were gonna listen, and then they just didn't. Kind of like that video that Shannon Alvarado hated so much, where she called up, and then instead of listening to me, she passed me off to Rick. And then instead of Rick listening, he and Shannon end up in an argument that lasts for the next 10 minutes of that fucking phone call. Why is it that she never found out what was going on, even though I was at her house for 2 months? Because she wouldn't shut the fuck up. She wouldn't stop arguing, just like she did with Rick that night. Every fucking night it was like that. I got work that I need to do, and I can't do it with that environment. I'm shut down. And, later on, Jojo and Derek, they, both treated me completely like shit multiple times. I'm like, see, you don't love me. If you loved me, you would have actually shut up and listened and tried to help. And your efforts, obviously, you're not trying that fucking hard if it takes you 6 weeks to call somebody to set up coffee. By the time she's messaging me here, I mean, we've already been on the phone typing to each other for 6 weeks, trying to set up coffee. And every time that I type to her, you know, whenever you want to have coffee, I don't have a job, whenever you are available, because she keeps telling me she's too busy, she's too busy, she's too busy, she has too much going on. And then she's like, well, tell me what time you want to have coffee. I'm like, anytime. What about Tuesday? Does Tuesday sound good to you? And she's like, no, Sean, I'm busy on Tuesday, I work. Okay, well, how about on Friday? No, Sean, Friday's no good for me. I mean, there was literally probably 8 different times that I was like, this is a time that I can come have coffee with you. This is any time of the week. Any time of the week, Jojo, just let me know and we'll have coffee. She's like, well, tell me what time. And I tell her what time, and she can't. So, Jojo, tell me when you can have fucking coffee. Don't be a fucking moron about it. And that's the thing about that phone. That's the phone that I lost, like 6 months after Natalie was dead. 4 months, something like that. And that was a pretty important telephone. I mean, it had the conversations between myself and Shelley. It had the conversations between myself and Lana, myself and Layla Johnson. Had a lot of different conversations on it. Conversations that showed I was telling the truth. In the call log, it's got the evidence of how many times that I called these different places that people keep telling me to call. Call this place, call that place, call this place, call that place. I'm like, I'm already fucking calling these places. So, Sean, you're not trying. Have you called that place yet? Bitch, I've called that place fucking 20 times because 20 different people are telling me that I need to fucking call that place. I've done it. I mean, literally, when I said that I've seen this happen to people before, innocent men had their lives ruined before, I wasn't joking. I knew what to expect because I have seen it with my own 2 eyes. And I have lived the homeless life. I have lived what it's like when somebody calls you mentally ill and there's nobody in your corner because your family doesn't give a fuck. So I guess that's my ramble for the intermission. I needed a friend in real life, and the 3 times that I was able to see Derek and Jojo before Natalie died and after Virginia, it was a fucking shit show. It was Derek being a fucking dick, and Joanna being subservient and taking it. It was bullshit. Meanwhile, they're supposed to help me, but neither one of them can shut the fuck up long enough to listen. And at this point, I'm tired of Jojo fucking pretending and going out of her way to take things out of context. Meanwhile, I can't even show you the whole context because I don't have those phones anymore. And that's exactly what I was afraid of. If I didn't have a safe place for that stuff, that it was all gonna get stolen. And I was right. Of course I was fucking right. I have experience in this. I mean, there's probably 30 people on my Facebook just this week who are bitching on Facebook because somebody stole all of their things because they're fucking homeless. Yeah, this is real life for people like us. It didn't matter how hard I fucking worked. I was still homeless. Meanwhile, there's lots of people who didn't end up that way because they had a good start, or at least a decent start. And instead of having to do it all by themselves, they had somebody who actually worked together with them. Not helped them, but worked together with them for mutual benefit. And even then, it was a struggle and they could barely make ends meet. They had to borrow credit. Me, I was never able to borrow credit. And it was always just me. At this point in time, I mean, you see how much I'm struggling because I can't fucking work. It took me, 3 months to make that hammer. Why did it take me 3 months? Because every fucking swing of that hammer hurt my back like you wouldn't believe. It was bullshit.